Your side at 4. Focused on you.
Off the top at 4, today for the first time in 7 years, there's new leadership in the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office. Good afternoon, I'm Brent Solomon.
And I'm Kay Quinn. Kim Gardner abruptly resigned yesterday, and the governor has appointed a temporary replacement to run the department. 5 on Your Side's Christine Byers is live outside the Circuit Attorney's office in downtown St. Louis. She has the latest developments. Christine?
Kay, Kim Gardner's name has already been removed from the wall outside the Circuit Attorney's office here at the Carnahan Courthouse. The governor started off the day meeting with what's left of Gardner's staff, seeking their input on how to rebuild this office. He has put his general counsel in charge as the interim circuit attorney until he can make a permanent appointment. The initial plan before Gardner resigned was for St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell to help with the transition. In fact, 5 on Your Side obtained this order that Kim Gardner gave to a judge Tuesday, hoping to appoint Bell as the transition manager, who would, quote, exercise all powers granted to the circuit attorney. She even issued a memo to her staff saying she had worked with Bell on the transition plan, but the judge never signed the order, and currently Bell is not in charge. However, in an interview this afternoon, Bell says he's one of several surrounding prosecutors the governor's new transition team is asking to help.
We all got to work together, and there's so many defendants that we share in common in the city, and so many victims and victims' families that we also share in common. So we are invariably tied together.
So there were several other developments that happened today as a result of Gardner's resignation. One of those includes the Missouri Attorney General has withdrawn his lawsuit to remove her from office effective immediately, and also contempt charges that had been filed against her by a judge have been dismissed, and there is a chance, though, that those charges could be refiled. Live outside the Carnahan Courthouse in downtown St. Louis, Christine Byers, 5 on.
All right, thank you, Christine. The Missouri Attorney General has ended an emergency rule limiting transgender care for minors and some adults. Andrew Bailey issued the rule last month, requiring all new transgender patients undergo months of counseling before beginning medical intervention. The new move was announced last night without explanation, but comes after the Missouri legislature passed a bill that restricts transgender care for kids and teens. Governor Mike Parson has yet to sign that legislation. The ACLU of Missouri released a statement saying, in part, while recently passed legislation is not as extreme as the Attorney General's unlawful rule, it still rejects the recommendations of every major medical association based on decades of peer-reviewed studies supporting the necessity of life-saving, gender-affirming care. 5 on Your Side political editor Mark Maxwell will have more reaction to the Attorney General's decision to terminate his emergency rule. It's coming up on 5 on Your Side at 5.
Today, the U.S. Supreme Court announced that for now, it will not block an Illinois law that bars the sale of certain semi-automatic guns and large-capacity magazines. The High Court denied an emergency request from people challenging that law. Opponents had asked the court to put the law on hold while a court challenge continues. The court did not comment, and no justice publicly dissented.
Right now, a St. Louis firefighter is recovering after being injured in an overnight fire. Crews responded to the vacant house on Michigan Avenue around 2:30 this morning. At one point, they had to evacuate the building. A neighbor tells 5 on Your Side she heard an explosion before seeing flames erupt from the home. She says the neighborhood has had problems with vacant properties.
And my biggest fear was somebody was going to start a fire, either trying to cook something or keep warm or mix chemicals for drugs or whatnot, and sure enough, it's happened.
The fire department is still investigating exactly what sparked that fire.
Cahokia Heights is a step closer to fixing its failing sewer lines. The Metro East community has faced relentless flooding over the past several years. Today, our Tracy Henson was there as the mayor signed an agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers. She's live in Cahokia Heights with more on when that will start. Tracy.
So, Brent, it's not going to start soon enough for many residents. The project's lead engineer says it's going to start up later this year or potentially early next year. And for residents, it cannot come soon enough. There's a lot of standing water in Cahokia Heights, the town made up of former Allerton, Centerville, and Cahokia. With a combination of funds, the city's mayor inked a deal with the Army Corps of Engineers to repair Cahokia Heights' failing sewer lines. Not everything will get attention right away. They are currently in the process of repairing 52 out of 69 pump stations. Next, they'll focus their efforts on the main trunk line. That fix will help backups and workload for city crews.
They have to pump down backed up flow. They have to install bypass pumping with temporary pipes and things like that. This will help reduce those occurrences, but it won't eliminate them because some of those backups are due to local breaks that aren't part of the trunk line.
There is a potentially big issue here as well. The mayor of Cahokia Heights said in the press conference today that the city estimates are falling about $10 to potentially $15 million short of what they need to raise. So they will work with local leaders and leaders at the state and federal level to make up those funds. Live in Cahokia Heights, I'm Tracy Hinson, 5 on your side.
Very interesting, Tracy. Thank you. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a live image now over Busch Stadium. The Cardinals host the Brewers in a little more than 2 hours. It's setting up to be a perfect night at the ballpark. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with your Weather First forecast.
Yes, Brent, and we are talking about some sunshine out there, but it's not the crystal clear blue sky that you would traditionally see in this kind of situation. Yeah, the sky's been mostly clear today, but what we're seeing here on the satellite photo is a lot of that wildfire smoke backing in here from around the Great Lakes. It's a little thicker earlier this morning than it is right now, but that's why that sky's not very blue. It's much more smoky, much more hazy, kind of whitish, but otherwise just a couple of puffy clouds here and there and pretty comfortable. Low 80s right now in St. Louis, so we'll certainly take that at the ball game tonight. Looking at a mainly clear sky. That smoke is aloft. It's not at the ground, although the hot dog stand may steam things up a little bit. 77 degrees at 7 o'clock, upper 60s by the time the game is over.
All right, thank you, Scott. Janae Edmondson is now a high school graduate. She's the Tennessee teen who lost her legs when she was hit by a car in downtown St. Louis in February. Today, her mother posted a picture of Janae's graduation. She received her diploma Saturday in her hometown. Janae will attend Middle Tennessee State University this fall, where she'll be a manager for the volleyball team.
A huge congratulations to her. Still ahead, shutting down. The reason Lion's Choice is closing one of its locations in St. Louis County.
A Missouri soldier killed overseas will finally be laid to rest. How he was identified nearly 80 years after his death.
And a car chase in the streets of New York involving Prince Harry and Meghan and the paparazzi. How the mayor is responding to that reckless incident.